Keeping Me Up, the show where we discuss the thoughts that inch their way into our brain and keep us up when we should be sleeping. I'm your host, Razlo, and tonight we have singer/guitarist for the 27 Club and Anarchy Club, Keith Smith, on the show to help keep me up. Tonight, we're going to discuss such topics as: would you allow ad space on your tombstone? Are the people who say a mouth is a mouth the same people that say any pizza is good pizza? And we wonder if Kangaroo CEOs would allow their assistants to stay in their pouch. Please enjoy.
What?
Listen.
Yeah.
I know you invited me over here, and you've had a hard day, and you just want to sleep. And it's very selfish of me to keep you awake because something's keeping me up. But is it cool? Because we don't get to talk as often as I want to.
Oh, totally, man.
Is it cool if we just talk through some stuff I've been thinking about?
Yeah.
So that I could feel better and just go to sleep. Maybe you have some stuff you need to talk about.
Yeah, I was going to say,
too.
if I can talk about some shit that
Maybe we haven't caught up in a while.
No, it has been a while.
It's just important stuff, though. Like,
right.
Nothing like bullshit. Just like cut straight to the point. Like,
okay.
You know, if this was a Kangaroo Society,
yeah,
would Kangaroo CEOs have their assistants stay in their pouch?
Okay, you just blew my mind.
Or would that be too close, or is it convenience sake, or would the CEO stay inside the pouch of the assistant?
I think the CEO would stay in the assistant's pouch, and the assistant would be kissing butt.
So the CEOs would need to find these giant assistants,
right,
that they could just crawl inside and feed from the nipples inside.
But the cool thing is that the CEO, this whole concept, means that the CEO is female by default, and the assistant is female by default.
Well, I mean, now we flipped it. It doesn't mean that the CEO is female.
Right.
Because if they're jumping in the pouch, that doesn't.
That's messed up. Because then the lady has to be carrying the dude around all the time.
You were the one that's. I always say the CEO had the. You were like, no, let's continue the.
Well, CEOs are always fat cats, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. So they're always like. You don't mean
literal.
Make it happen.
You don't mean literal felines, dude.
No.
Okay. Because we're talking about Animal Society.
Right.
So I gotta make sure.
And I'm pretty sure you couldn't squeeze a cat for any amount of money into a kangaroo pouch. I'm pretty sure neither one of them would enjoy that experience.
There's gotta be like somewhere in the outback where it's happening, like some kitten, like
I just see like some alien kind of experience, where like the kangaroo's like, and it's just
there's a cat that's jumping on its legs.
And it's inside trying to get out. It's like, dude.
It's just like batting.
Yeah. You see like the paw come out. And you see like it's like hitting the thing. Like
the kangaroo is just like trying to push the cat back.
Calm down, boss.
None of my other kids were like this. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. That's a weird one.
I'm surprised you've never thought about it before.
Well, yeah. I'm usually thinking about stuff like wolverines and badgers, honey badgers.
You don't want any of those inside a kangaroo pouch.
No, you don't want any of those in there. And you don't want to be, if they had pouches, you wouldn't want to be in their pouch either. Though if you had to be in a pouch, that's the pouch you'd want to be in.
I wonder what other amenities they would ask for inside the pouch.
Air conditioning.
It's just like
pretty warm. So
there's just like a fan, a USB fan, just like hooked up, pushing down in there. Just this horribly misshapen pouch because of like there's a TV in there,
and a laptop.
Always open laptop.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, oh man, a stretch pouch.
Yeah, exactly. With like a stock ticker tape thing.
Yeah, they show up to the big corporate meeting and there's this pouch. The pouch is like a half a block ahead of them.
Yeah, and because it's the CEO and he's a big shot, he doesn't even leave the pouch. He just gets, he just phones it in from the pouch.
Yeah.
And his assistant is just like, at the meeting.
And he gets to say shit like, you know what? I don't get out of a pouch for anything less than $5 million.
Yeah, exactly. exactly.
You get to change all the all those corporate
I don't need the pouch for less than $5 million.
Speaking of making money, you were telling me earlier today about how you really wanted to support a band and their merch, but you couldn't for some reason.
Yeah, because their merch sucks. Like, I don't understand why bands do that. Like you kind of think, right? Like, if someone's a musician, and they're good enough, that like you know who they are, right? Then they have some sort of artistic coolness going on, right? Some kind of thing that they would understand the concept of like cool things in theory, right? So like, and plus they probably also have a massive group of friends who are in turn artists and things like that. So they should have easy access to these things. Yeah. But I cannot stand when I go to support a band and their shirt is shitty and typically like on one of those white slim fit t-shirts. That's like the worst possible combination.
You're like, let me see, what do I want from a shirt? I want to make sure that it gets stained as easily as possible.
It fits too snugly, and that the design's shitty.
And I want people that, anyone that doesn't know the band, I want them to think that I have awful taste.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to accomplish both of these on one shirt. Oh, you did? Awesome. Hold on.
Exactly. Like I kind of feel like, here's some examples, right?
Yeah.
Like Queens of the Stone Age and Deftones.
Yeah.
Consistently fucking kill it with tour shirts, and they don't have the same ones for a long time. One tour could have like 20 shirts because they're like, we made
too many good ideas.
Yeah. They're just plus it's collectible and cool, right? You're like, I actually got from a merch standpoint. Yeah. But 2 tours ago, I saw Queens of the Stone Age, and they had Queens of the Stone Age socks, and I brought them home. I was like, oh shit, Queens of the Stone Age socks, and they're blue and white striped, right? But here's the dopest part that I didn't even realize when I bought them. When I opened them, it's 2 left feet. Like someone thought about that. That's fucking cool. Yeah. You know what I mean? Right? They have collectible bubblegum cards. Yeah. Like all this cool shit, right? Yeah. And then there's like on the other side of that, then there's like Death from Above, who's one of my favorite bands of all time. But it's like that logo with the elephant noses, it's almost like they were like, let's make something really shitty. Yeah. And we're so good that people will wear it anyway.
They just took the logo off of those novelty thongs. With the elephant truck. Yeah. What if we put it on a shirt?
Yeah, let's put it on our faces. It'll be cool. And I just went to go see them not too long ago. Yeah. And they went and they played an old album. Yeah. Right? And I was like, oh, sweet. So maybe they have some cool shit, right? Yeah. The shirt was just them really young with the noses still. And I was just like, man, I just want a shirt that just says Death from Above 1979 on it. Like, that's cool. Yeah. You know what I mean? Even just DFA 79, that's cool.
Even if you just said, it was just a shirt that just said phallic symbols.
Yeah.
It would be a better...
Yeah, exactly.
At least you're like, that's kind of funny.
Exactly. These aren't dick noses, but they kind of are.
It's like, so I'm sure you've seen, even if you're not like a wrestling fan, you've seen like the Bullet Club shirts around. Yeah. Like there are these shirts that are, the design's so fucking badass that like people are like, I don't know, I kind of almost saw a wrestling match once and they'll buy the shirt. Yeah. Like that's the opposite end of the spectrum. And then they had the guys that WWE like kind of bought a lot of the talent from that faction. Yeah. And then brought them over and they're like, we're going to do the same thing. It's going to be just as hot. Right?
I was like, no.
And they're like, we're going to call them the Club because we're real original with our naming. And then like the design, so we go from like super graphic skull with like missing pieces and really cool parts, like right. You know, with guns as like the crossbow. I'm like, fucking rad, right? And then it's like, all right, guys, we gotta try to top this. We gotta try to top it. Let's put like a highly detailed gas mask with a handful of swords behind it, and I'm just like. It's the dumbest, like,
well, even more conceivably that could be cool, but yeah, I get it.
Visually, maybe, but like, even just like the juxtaposition, you're like, what are you trying to say? Like, we stink? Like, what's the...
No, in the apocalypse...
You need swords?
Yeah, because you have to reload them.
If the design was like a dude like with a gas mask and a sword, maybe like.
Well, did you ever see? Because this is another example that goes to that, like a do of that as opposed to the don't, right? Was it there's this band Skinless? Yeah. It's like, right? Yeah. And they have this shirt called an album called literally Trample the Weak, Hurdle the Dead, right?
Yeah.
And the album cover is amazing, and it's basically a dude in a gas mask holding a scary ass sawed-off shotgun in the perspective of it's like pointing in your face.
Oh,
like
man.
If they did that, that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Also, it's not a big hit on the bus, but still.
It'd be edgy, whereas this was like, I heard some things were edgy, but
exactly.
I don't know how to put them together.
Kids are into that Game of Thrones thing.
And it takes you so, like the Bullet Club one, you could see it from like half an arena away, and you're like, rad shirt.
Yeah.
And I know what it is.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
This one, like, you have to get up on top of it, and you're still like,
hold on a second. Like, just
it's
overdone.
really highly detailed, and there's like a lot happening behind the gas mask, and you're like, this is what is that? Oh, okay, I get it. Okay, I get it.
I don't
know why you put them together, but like, I get it. Like,
that's another pet peeve of mine too, is like shirts that just have way too much shit on them.
Right.
To your point about WWE shirts though, I have, and you remember this shirt, right? But I have an old CM Punk shirt.
He always
that's
had
all
good
black,
shirts,
and it's just a fist with the wrap up, right? And I still have that shirt, and it's funny because people have no idea what it is, but they all love that shirt. They're like, that shirt's cool.
But the difference is, right? Like, that was like low detail.
Yeah. It just stuck to what needed to be shown.
The colors like bleeding in areas.
Yeah.
It looks like it was done like fresh spray paint or like real
like a stencil.
Dirty right? And it's like, and it's got some edge to it. Like, now imagine if they just literally took a photo of his two fists.
Yeah.
And just like
and put it on
traced it
and put it on like a pink shirt.
Yeah, and you just be like, yeah, that's his fists. What are you trying to tell me with this shirt?
Exactly.
Because it doesn't have like the emotion,
the gravitas.
There's no thought put into like
right.
method it's made. It's just like, you want two hands? Let me just literally put two hands.
And he achieved something which is kind of tough to do, right?
Yeah.
He made a CM Punk shirt that was actually kind of punk rock.
Right.
Right? Like, in punk rock, you don't even have to go into the endless rules of punk rock, but that shirt actually like qualified into that. So that was kind of awesome.
Yeah.
And he didn't have to use the Pepsi logo.
I always loved seeing.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, but like speaking of people with no ability to
let me get my drink.
To have taste, are the people that say the saying, "A mouth is a mouth," the same people who say there's no such thing as bad pizza?
Oh, most definitely.
Because like I think like the Venn diagram of those those two thought processes are like, I'm not gonna say it's a full circle.
Yeah.
Like nothing outside of it. I'm sure there's some people that are like, no, like, I'm not picking up my pizza, but I am my blowjobs. But like, I have to imagine.
I can imagine that's more on that side. Like the person who would be outside that would be the person who's like, I'm picking up my pizza, but not my blowjobs. I think I can see that way more than just like I don't know. I'm a bit of a stickler about that, but like.
So you're saying it's like the person's going to like #1 pizza restaurant in the county.
Yeah.
But then going drive-through when it comes to their oral,
like glory hole and right. like a Cracker Barrel glory hole. Or something.
I hate both those sayings because they're really they're supposed to be judgment calls on the person who's being called out for being too picky.
Right.
But they're the most judgment calling thing out. It's the most self-owning sayings.
Right.
That I can think of, where it's just like, a mouth is a mouth, and it's like, you always, like, I don't want to investigate, but I want to investigate. I'm like, you're saying it, how far does this go?
Yeah.
You know, like, is it literally like, you know, you're like swimming with tiger sharks, and you're just like, fuck, I can't help it.
Yeah.
Gravitational pull.
Exactly. I was walking along the beach, and I saw a dead horseshoe crab, and I just thought, all
right, here we go. Because it's like, obviously, like, you probably have a line somewhere, but like...
And do the mouths have to have teeth?
Obviously not.
I've heard things about gums. So.
Yeah, for sure. And then I know such thing as bad pizza, like, what a charmed life you've led, or how dead are your taste buds.
Or just like, you're so fucking lucky that like you grew up in a window where like the only pizza places around you were like God spots.
Well, I don't think there's any place like that exists.
Not anymore.
Like, I have like
like, you know, when we worked over in Cambridge, there was...
Oh, yeah, hi-fi?
No. That was a similar thing. That was like, if you're drunk enough, it's okay.
Well, you know what's sad? Hi-fi was really amazing before that. And then it just, over the years, that's what happened to all the pizza places, right?
Yeah.
Like, I remember when I was younger, New York City, like, if you went to the shittiest pizza place, the pizza was fantastic, right? And all the pizza was good.
Yeah.
And this is a true story. I actually took Eileen to New York to go see the Deftones, right?
Yeah.
But that was only half the reason. The other half was like, women, you need to have real pizza, right?
Yeah.
So we go there, and she'll back me up on this. We went to so many places, and I'll literally be like, this is trash! Throw it on the side. And I'm like, I'm not even that guy that throws away food, but
throw it at the pigeons. You couldn't even put it in the trash. Like, you don't even deserve to make it to the trash.
And the worst, and I was super bummed. We went to like 4 or 5 different places, and all the pizzas sucked. And then one of my friends, I was like, New York makes shitty pizza. And my friend was like, no, they don't. You just gotta go to Brooklyn. And I was like, yeah. So like I said, New York has shitty pizza.
And then he cried for 3 hours.
I was like, I'm not going to Brooklyn. I'm not going to drive to Brooklyn for a slice of pizza. But the worst slice of pizza I ever had, and you know that there's someone who's like, I love that place, right?
Yeah.
Was in London, and I kid you not, dude.
Yeah.
This pizza looked and tasted like you took a piece of Wonder Bread, spread ketchup on it, and then sprayed string cheese on it. I went like this. I looked at the guy and I was like, sorry. I was like, oh, they have pizza. And Eileen was like, cool. And we got it. And we each took a bite, and I was just like, and threw it in the trash right there.
You're like, what's the number? You asked to go back and you asked for the number of the police. Yeah. There's a crime that's taking place.
Exactly.
I've been assaulted.
999.
Yeah, like, because like I even have like pizza places where it's like, you know, like I first started working, you know, in Cambridge, and it was like ABC, right? And the first time I had it, people be like, we're heading over here, and it was obvious they'd gone there a bunch, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and I had it, right? And I was like, this is fucking disgusting. What the fuck? And then I worked there long enough, and it was really hard to. And then like, all of a sudden, it's like you get used to the
mediocrity.
The way it's like shitty in a very specific way that I started to enjoy, and so then it would be like, where I'm like, oh man, I'm really craving this shitty pizza.
I'm sorry,
but like you wouldn't ever tell anyone to go there. They're like, hey, didn't you go to that pizza? Don't go there. Don't go. But I see you eat there like once a week. Yeah, I know. I'm kind of fucked up sometimes.
I'm kind of of the mindset that if you go to a place to eat pizza and you have to lay like 3 napkins down on the slice and pat it before you can eat it, you shouldn't be eating the pizza.
Yeah, I'd have to bring my own towel.
You're like wringing it out later. You're like, all right, cool.
I was like, what was the thought process with the cheese that's bought here? Was it like we have to use the excess grease to fry our chicken tenders after? Or
well, it's like, is it even cheese or is it just coagulated oil? Like it's just like,
it's just they wait for the fryer oil to dry up and then shred it up.
Yeah, exactly. They sprinkle some Parmesan into it.
It's making a lot of sense now.
But yeah, that stuff's horrible. And also, yeah, I mean, mouth is a mouth. You do you. But when it comes to pizza, I draw the line.
I like how you're you're like, yeah, okay, I get it, but pizza's important.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
And I'm particular about my mouths as well, but people can do what they're gonna do. But I'd sooner be offended at someone for eating shitty pizza than I would for them.
What I'd like to know is the success rate. I wish like sayings had success rates next to them, because I want to know how many people where it's like their bro went to them. A mouth is a mouth, dude.
And he was like, I'm so glad you said that.
What? I never thought about it that way.
He's like, cool, what are you doing right now?
You know what? I was going to have standards. But then you really broke it down for me, man. You really changed my fucking life. I had an issue with something to do with people using urinals or...
Yeah. I have a couple of beefs with people in office urinals.
Okay.
All right. My first one
specifically office urinals?
Well, that's where I see it the most.
Okay.
I mean, it's everywhere, but like I'll just start from the beginning. Urinals in general, okay? My first thing is it's a freaking urinal, right?
Hold on, for people that are listening that may have never gone to a men's bathroom before, a urinal
is a pee bowl.
Think about it as like a feeding trough.
Right.
With, if you're lucky, a drain in it.
Yeah. So here's my beef with urinals.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Yeah.
All you have to do is release, right?
Right. That's the selling
and
point.
People
of it.
still, right? And people still fuck that up. Like I'm like, how do you piss on the wall when it's right fucking there? Like, do you have that little dick control? It's just like released like a hose.
It's the low stakes version of someone like shooting up the office building. You know what I mean?
You think,
They're
it's
like,
passive aggressive. They're
yeah. They're like, I've got nothing but rage for this job, and I can't actually do anything about it.
So I'll just make it shitty for the people who clean.
So, like, their penis is just like representational, but they want to do the whole job. They're just like, I'm spraying everywhere. I'm letting my anger out.
But the funny part of that is,
Yeah.
then that pisses off the cleaning people who come in with a gun and kill everybody.
Well, but you have to imagine that this person that's peeing all over a wall.
Yeah,
If they're not concerned about the next person that's going to pee there, they're certainly
not concerned
about the guy that's cleaning it.
Right. So that's my one beef. My second beef is dudes using their cell phones in the urinal. That doesn't look cool. It looks like you're trying to look cool really bad. And if you're taking a shit and you're on the toilet, that makes sense to me. I can understand. If you're taking a shit and you've got your phone's in your pocket and you're like, I'm gonna be here a little while. I've tweeted from taking a dump.
Oh, I thought you meant like
taking a shit in the urinal.
No. Well, I mean that's a whole other thing. That's the guy who really hates his job. I thought you were talking about making phone calls.
Oh no.
And so that's why I gave you that
I don't make phone calls.
You were like, listen, man. The time to make phone calls is when you're shitting, and I was just like,
no.
I hard disagree with your premise.
No, I'm talking about just like texting or like surfing the net and stuff, right?
Okay, yeah.
But like if you're peeing, dude, that shouldn't be a long enough process that you're like this. Damn, I might as well check some emails. And there's nothing going on in the world, even if you're like a government official, there's nothing going on in the world that's so pressing that you need to bust out your phone. Because here's the other thing, right? Mm-hmm. Unless you're like Joe Badass Switchblade Dick, right? So that you can just be like this, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to put that phone back in your pocket to sort your business out.
I tried to get Joe Badass Switchblade Dick to give me a recommendation on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And because I know he's got a lot of clout, you know what I mean? Like,
well, he does, dude.
Half of the job he's got is just because people see his urinal
they're like,
skills. And he just wouldn't. He's too fucking big time for me. After all the shit that I did for him, he's like, nah, sorry.
No, but you know what I'm saying, right? And the other thing is, so these dudes are on that, and that just really bothers me, because I'm just kind of like, and it's a pet peeve. I know that like I shouldn't be bothered by that, but I just kind of think like where's your head at? That you're like, oh, I got 3 seconds. I better pull my phone out.
But cell phone usage is the punctuation of the modern life.
Oh,
right?
most definitely.
So it's like anytime,
but not in a good way though. I think.
But I'm just saying, like, it's not just for urinals.
Yeah,
it's like everywhere. So it makes sense that it comes out of the urinals.
Well, people are on dates and they're like, yeah. So
it's like if there's like a period, if there's a space, it's like anytime there's like any room, it's like, oh, cell phone.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Well, the other end of that, I would argue, though, is those same people fart. And if you're in the urinal by yourself, that's fine. If you're in the bathroom, there's some space, people are doing their thing. But like at my job, let me explain.
I'm waiting.
At my job, the urinals
Yeah.
are in this like little cubby by themselves, right? There's like 1, 2, right?
It's weird they didn't put it in the bathroom.
No, it is in the bathroom. But the point is, it's like in the hallway. It's in the hallway.
Cubicle where it's just
nothing to see here.
Drop your piss off over here.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's one guy like trying to do the accounting.
Yeah.
In the middle.
Well,
of
he's
it.
on his phone.
Yeah.
But like if you're just sitting there by yourself, far away. If there's people in the toilets, far away. But if some dude walks up right next to you and he's just like, I gotta piss really bad, the last thing I need is someone else's ass funk in my nose at that moment.
All right, Keith.
Yeah.
I know, you've been a rock star for a long time.
I wouldn't do it to you, Bailey.
And you're used to certain treatment. But I'm gonna say that maybe we need to draw the line at complaining that a guy farts in the bathroom.
No, that's fine. But not like if I'm there next to you, I wouldn't, if some dude's sitting next to me and I'm pissing and we're both pissing in the urinal, I'm not gonna go,
all right.
woo, and then leave.
I misunderstood your point. I thought you were like, I'm like, where the fuck is this guy supposed to fart? He can't fart in the office. He's like, finally I got to leave.
Oh, yeah.
In the bathroom, and Keith's like, you piece of shit. He's like, where was I supposed to do, Keith?
Like I said, I completely understand that you got to do that, right?
He goes running to the stairwell, farts in it,
dude.
just as like the CEO's walking up the stairs.
Well, dude, everybody knows the long haul fart. Like, everybody's done that. You know what I mean? But that's my thing. Like, if you got to fart and you go to the bathroom, that's fine. But I'm just saying, don't do it while, like, someone's sitting next to you. And especially don't think that, like, because you're holding your cell phone that I didn't notice.
Well, it is a psychological thing, right? Because, like, there's about as much distance between you and the person in the urinal as if it's in a stall. But you would never
But we're right here, though.
No. It's because of the visual element of it. Not even necessarily what you're saying is, you're saying, like, this is a funk issue.
Right.
And I'm saying, it's really not.
No, it's a visual
It's a visual element, because it's like, don't look me in the face while you fart. It's what you're basically saying, because it's like, if urinals were completely sectioned off.
Yeah, then I wouldn't give a shit.
And then so it's just it's the same exact situation, same exact distance.
Right.
But you'd be like,
but it's like that dude who's on his phone and he's like, yeah, I farted. Like that guy. I got beef with that.
And send.
Exactly.
Whew. I was waiting under that tweet to get that out.
And then I'm waiting for him to go like this. But he doesn't do that part because he doesn't have a fucking switchblade.
Right.
So
a few of us do. I tried to get him to tell me his trick, and he's just like, listen, man, I'm not fucking decreasing my value.
I'll tell you the secret. It's all about the hips, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it like he makes it like an innie and then?
Well, it's the same way like you go like this, right? Like you like. Well, it's not that the dick itself is a switchblade and opens up.
Oh.
It's like you're like it's more like the underwear, right? So like basically your dick's in. Okay. You zip down and then you kind of go like this, and your dick comes up, but you get skills, so you can just pee right into the dot that they put into all the urinals now, so that you don't pee on the walls, but people do anyway.
I like the idea that like as it's coming out, he's already peeing like this. Because he knows like the trajectory that it's gonna arc, right? It's like he's gonna plan
He starts peeing as he's walking towards the urinal.
It's like one of those things like when you go to see like a stuntman do like something, you're like, man, I don't think you're gonna clear those cars.
Yeah, and he does it.
Don't worry about it.
He does it.
So he just starts there and it's like, oh, it all got in.
And he's on his cell phone.
And he's FaceTiming his grandma.
While he farts.
Yeah. While he's doing shadow puppets. What the fuck?
Exactly. I hate that guy. Okay, that went abstract, but that's cool.
Well, it reminds me of, you've probably been invited to a lot of bachelor parties because, you know, who wouldn't want to have you around? It sounded like I was being sarcastic when I said it. But I wasn't sure how to read that line.
There's a few.
It was either I was gonna get too gay with it.
Who wouldn't want to have you around?
Especially when we're in bed together.
Exactly.
Or it was
a friend is a friend.
Or it was a mouth. Who would want to have you around? After all, a mouth is a mouth. So you must have been to a weird bachelor party, and I was curious what the weirdest bachelor party situation you've been to or heard.
Well, bachelor parties by default are supposed to be weird. So to that end, I would have to pick like the most unbachelor bachelor party I ever went to.
Those are almost the weirdest, right?
Yeah. Basically, it was a friend of mine like a really long time ago, and he was like, I don't want strippers or nothing. And we were like, okay. So his bachelor party basically turned into the two of us and like 6 other dudes eating way too many mushrooms. Right?
Yeah.
And then getting lost.
Yeah. And
then ending up in a playground where basically all of them except me were throwing up violently. But like on the rides, like they're like going around, they're like, oh, and they're like, bleh. Thankfully, like the puke wasn't on the rides, but they'd be like on a swing and like swing back and be like, I don't feel good. Bleh.
The next morning, a bunch of kids rushing, excited for playground time, and it's just like, oh man, it's just
what's up with all this mushroom vomit?
Yeah, exactly. It's just a bunch of like badly chewed mushroom everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
and I'm pretty sure the psychedelic aspect is worn out by the stomach acid, so.
I never thought to ask.
It's not like they can reuse
it. That's even.
Hey man, mushrooms are mushrooms.
I know. He's just got like one of those canes.
Yeah.
Like the things that pick up litter with like, with like the spike on the end of it.
Fuck that, just like a spork. He's like, fuck yeah. That's a good chunk. I'm not letting that go.
Oh man, we went in a bad place.
But anyway, yeah. So I noticed a pattern of that, but that's okay. But yeah, that was the weirdest one I ever went to. What about you?
Similarly, it wasn't weird so much as, you know, you hear what people want to do, and I think it's the origins of the tradition.
Yes.
That make whatever you decide to do like strange. It's almost like it's inherently strange.
What? Bachelor parties?
Right.
Completely.
Because it's supposed to be like the concept of bachelor or bachelorette party is like, hey, last night of freedom, buddy.
Yeah.
But
that goes to really dark places with some people.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah.
Last time play Russian roulette with your buds.
Exactly, for real.
All right, like, okay. But like, it's supposed to be like that. But then like when people, so there's people that do really fucked up things.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, why'd you get so fucked up?
Yeah, I've been to a few of those. Yeah.
Right? But then there's people that are like rebelling against the tradition, that are like, I'm not gonna do something fucked up.
And they throw up mushrooms.
like my brother, like where it's like he just got married, you know, like a few weeks ago, and his bachelor party was like, we're gonna go to a golf course and we're gonna play golf, right? Mm-hmm. Which is fine, like, but it's fine as like a day of you just doing something you want to do,
right? With
it's
everybody
weird,
going party,
which wasn't happening.
Okay.
But it's weird when you like put it in the context of like what it's supposed to mean and what it's supposed to be.
Right.
It's like, last night of freedom, buddy.
This what
why don't
do
you do what you're gonna do for the rest of your fucking life?
Yeah, exactly.
When you get away from your wife, it's like you literally are going to be doing this thing like every moment that like you're like, I need some time for me. It's gonna be like going to play golf, and it's like, what should I do on this thing that's supposed to symbolize my last night? I mean, I was the same way, so I can't really talk.
Oh, no, I'm right there.
Mine was like, let's go to an arcade and then drink heavily. So I got part of the thing you're supposed to do in, but...
I watch Kung Fu movies.
Right, so we were identical. We did the same we were supposed to do. But my reasoning beyond just like, it is a little bit weird, like the stripper thing sometimes, was like, there was this one time where I got invited to, actually I didn't get invited, that's kind of part of the story. It was like, my friend got invited to like a bachelor party, and he was like, I barely know this guy, I don't know why I was invited, like whatever. And I just, as an asshole, like like how I am, I just go like, cool, can I go?
Yeah.
I want to go, can I go? And he's like, I guess. And so I'm with a bunch of guys that I've never met before.
Yeah.
And they had rented out like the function hall of like a Holiday Inn.
Mm. Okay.
And like hired a bunch of like, you know, strippers.
Yeah.
And it was like the like ECW.
Oh, I'll bet.
Because it was like, okay, we're not in a club. There are no rules.
Yeah.
Except for the rules we decide in the moment.
Right.
But it certainly isn't the rules you're used to.
Right.
But also, like, there are no rules, but also there's a guy over there with, like, a gun and a taser, and he's real big.
But he's for the girls, not
he's
for
the
hotel.
Girls, right. But I'm saying, like, it was like, there's no rules, but in case you go past where there's rules.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's that guy over there. And that was, like, I can't imagine. First of all, why would you be getting married if what happened at this particular bachelor party happened at my bachelor party?
Yeah.
I would be like, the next day or two, however many days to the wedding, I would be like, yikes, I hope nobody fucking says what. Which I guess I know is the idea.
No, well, that's always bothered me, though.
But it's like, man, like, not so much the show part of it. There's a great show.
Right. Oh no, I'm on the same page. I'm on the same page. The difference between
the Cirque du Soleil of shooting things from within your body out of your body was truly incredible, and I've never seen a sight like it since. But
smoke rings,
dude, it was really. I was legit impressed. But the things where it was like the actual like, okay, now it's someone that's on you doing things like part of it, like. Especially for the guy who was like the bachelor, like I'm pretty sure if there wasn't like direct like it was about like it was like, you know, when someone goes to like stop before a crosswalk,
like a hand job through pants.
when someone goes to stop at a crosswalk and they just like kind of accidentally tap someone's elbow.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I can't technically get you in trouble for that, but like you really almost killed someone. Yeah. But you're like, it was like you really should have pushed it that far. You went too far. It was like, so I'm just like, man, like that dude's getting fucking married. Like
I just feel bad for the wives.
He looks zero. Well, I mean, like if you have a setup where and whatever, every relationship's different, right? But like if you have a setup where you're like, I think like the people that do like the really excessive, like I basically fucked someone, bachelor/bachelorette party, are the same people that have the lists. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, you mean like the
it's like the
okay list?
Yeah. I think it's the same person. Where it's like, and then they're like, maybe they make them right after their bachelor.
Yeah, but you know the truth of those lists are? Yeah. The overwhelming vast majority of those, it's one person or the other. I've only met a few people where they're both like, hell yeah. It's usually like one person's like, this is how I feel, and the other one's like, okay, I'm open-minded.
I've seen people make the lists, right? But the problem is always one person makes it too easy.
Yeah.
Like they don't stay. Like it's like when you're playing a fighting game and someone changes the handicap level. It's like
and they choose Eddie Gordo.
Oh, like man, all right, all right. I like that. It's fun. A do me list. Okay, I'm going to put Brad Pitt. That's mine. Oh, Brad Pitt. Okay.
I'm going to put Sheila from next door.
Wait a minute. Equally unattainable, right?
Exactly. Like, But that's my thing too.
Even if it's a celebrity, and you're like, they're like, okay, stick to celebrities. You're like, all right. And then they pick like someone who's like washed up, who's like really hard on their luck, and you're like, why'd you pick that person? I always had a crush on them. Really? I don't know. But yeah, I would just love to see some of the bizarre bachelor party things.
Yeah,
that end up happening.
I know so many people who, and I've heard so many stories about, like you were saying, like the dudes who or the women who go out there and they just get their freak on like thoroughly.
Right.
And I'm kind of just like, but you're getting married, okay? Like if you want to spend the night, like mine, I'll tell you, just on my bachelor party, right? We got really drunk. We rented out a karaoke room in some place in Chinatown. Yeah. And then they basically had all these really pretty Asian women serving us food while we watched like Drunken Master 2 and all this stuff, right? That sounds good. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah. And then one of my friends was like, he wanted to take me someplace to get a massage.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And my other friend was like, you don't want to go. The girls are really ugly. Now, for perspective, this person who said that, right?
Yeah.
He went to a massage place. I mean, he went on his bachelor party. I went to it. He was whipped cream wrestling girls, and it was getting crazy. And I was just like, dude, you gotta chill, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, dude, and I'm thinking, I don't want to get freaky, but I would love a back rub, like,
yeah.
Right? And so he basically badmouthed the whole thing while my other friend's not around.
Huh.
So I don't go.
Yeah.
Adam is with me, and he's still single at that point too, and he's like, I'll go, but that's not gonna happen. So later on, they eventually take me to Centerfolds, because that's right, and we're just sitting there drinking a lot. I almost get in a fight with a bunch of Marines, which is hilarious, right?
Cool.
But then dude, it was hilarious. And then my other friend shows up, who's gonna do the massage thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, he was like, what are you talking about? He's like, these girls flew in from Hong Kong, like he's a big shot, right? Wow. He's like, these girls flew in from Hong Kong, and da-da-da-da. And I was like, damn it. And I was like, dude, I would have just loved to have it, like invite them to the party, just have them hang out with us and stuff. And the other kid was gone already, but I've still always like rubbed him about that. But especially because my intentions were actually pretty innocent. Yeah. And he was just like, man, you're like, have you met me? I'm fucking sore all over. Like, if there's a time where you're like, can we add some back rubs into it? Exactly. I'm always saying that. Exactly. That's the same thing with me. I'm like, hey, if there's a moment where someone's like, hey, you mind if I rub your? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. Totally. Guy, girl, like, fucking. And you know what? I'll go this way. A back rub is a back rub.
Well,
if it's a decent back rub.
There's the person who's just like kind of hurting you, but like not. I'm okay with like a back rub where it's like it's hurting, but I know that they know their shit, and I'm gonna feel better after.
My point is anybody anybody can give you a back rub if they're decent at back rubs.
Oh sure, that part, the anybody. Sure.
Going back to mouth is a mouth. I'm just touching it up.
Yeah, it's just not the pizza's a pizza.
We talked about that for a long ass time.
Yeah. But what about you've got a band that you've been in before?
I've been in a few.
Did you guys end up retiring, or what happened?
We're kind of in an extended hiatus.
Okay.
But also starting a new band, but that's down the line.
What's the name of the band?
The 27 Club.
Okay. When's stuff coming out for?
Probably the fall.
Okay.
But there's already like 40 songs have been written.
Well, but it's like a Grateful Dead thing, right? You never stop playing. You're like, this 30 seconds, that's a fucking song. Of this jam.
That was so wrong in like multiple levels. I was like, I almost vomited out of my nose when you said that.
You couldn't even be insulted because the thought was so ridiculous.
But yeah. In fact, to the contrary, most of the songs are probably like under 3 minutes.
Oh, nice.
It's more like, I got something to say. I said it. That's pretty much it. But I to that end, I kind of have a beef with old bands that never stopped playing. Now they're finally starting to slow down, but I think just because they're just too old to play. But like, let's be real. I love Aerosmith.
Yeah.
I love the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
I loved early Guns N' Roses, right? But like all those bands should have stopped like 25 years ago.
Well, it's the thing of what do you want people's last thought of you to or experience of you to be?
Right.
And
that's to my point though.
And it's like if you want it to be like, I mean, for guys their age, like if it has to be like, it kind of sounded like
exactly. Wow, he's pretty sprightly for 900.
Or like well, at least I crossed it off of my list of things to do. Like that's your review of the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Is like okay, maybe like that's not the best thing, but now it's like to your point, like we've hit a new era of ridiculousness with that because as the band members die, they replace them out.
And they're still playing.
It used to be, there have been bands like that used to do that. But it was always like, well, when the last one dies, it's all over. And now it's like, this party's never fucking stopping. And they're making new music and stuff too, but it's just like, you're like, it just becomes its own industry.
Oh yeah, and well, that's my beef.
It's like we can't turn the machines off.
But that's my beef, is that like, if the albums were still solid, then I'd be okay. Like I say this all the time. People are like, well, Lemmy was like 65. And I'm like, yeah, but he was still putting out killer albums. Like, I was just like, and his shit was like, his mindset was always like in a fresh place. Like, you know, and also it's sort of that like.
But also like he wasn't doing it for, it wasn't like he hit this giant status.
Right.
And it was like, these suckers will buy anything. Right. It was like, hey, like it's got a niche that's popular. And this guy could get a job doing anything because, like, he would help other bands and whatever.
Right.
And it's like he's choosing to make his own music because he likes making his music.
And it was good. But like Aerosmith, dude, and don't even get me started on the Rolling Stones. And I know a bunch of people who are gonna be like, blasphemer for saying that, but I don't give a shit.
They just unfronted you.
Right. Well,
now what are you gonna do?
Hang out with my friends who didn't. but like to me, like. I'm not saying don't do music anymore. I'm just saying do something else. Yeah. Like do something cool. Like Ray Manzarek from The Doors. I think he's dead now, right? But I think it's like fairly recently.
Yeah.
Within like the last 2 years. But he actually teamed up with Skrillex.
Yeah.
And that was really cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, do shit like that.
Something different.
Yeah. And like get outside your comfort zone, you know?
Yeah.
Or like way back when Joan Jett teamed up with Bikini Kill, like that was awesome.
Well, an example that totally different than the stuff you're doing, but like popular right now, right?
Yeah.
Is like when Lil Nas X had, you know.
Oh yeah. Billy Ray Cyrus came in and did that with him.
But like it wasn't just like cool because it was like he wasn't hopping on a trend.
Right.
Right?
Right.
It was like he was like, hey, there's some racist fucked up shit happening here.
Yeah, and fuck that noise.
And I'm gonna jump in because I'm undeniable.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
they can't be like Billy Ray Cyrus not country enough.
Exactly.
So he's like, I'm gonna jump in on this to make it so like you're undeniable because I think you're undeniable.
Right.
These people don't. And so I'm going to jump in so like they have no choice.
Right. Here's
and I'm going to point out how ridiculous their complaint was to begin with.
Right.
And it's like, so like that's like
that was really cool.
Of, like someone taking like their cred they built up and whatever. And it's, and the other thing was like, whether you like the song or don't like the song, it's kind of irrelevant because it's like, it was a cool thing to do.
Right.
And also like, I kind of universally heard from people that liked the song or even people that didn't. They're like, oh fuck, like the Billy Ray Cyrus fucking really brought it to that song, and he didn't treat it like a joke.
No, he took it really seriously.
And like his like,
and it kind of rocks.
His singing like was like really, and you're like, oh shit, like this guy can fucking like anyone that forgot, anyone that forgot like this guy can fucking sing, right? And then like he's just doodling on the guitar, and they're like, fuck, you're really good at being on the guitar too. Can you just throw that thing? You're fucking up like in the studio, just like, like can we just like throw that in? It's like, all right, I guess. And it's like it totally like I think that version of the song.
Oh yeah.
Is like so much better.
I agree.
Both versions are great.
And I was gonna say some other older dudes who've been around who did cool shit was Rob Halford from Judas Priest and Elton John have been on Queens of the Stone Age album.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like do cool shit. Like if you're really cool, you'll do cool shit. And this makes me sad because it never happened because Lemmy died.
Yeah.
But I always wanted Lemmy and Keith Richards to do a side project together. Because it was just like the two dudes who will never die, and then Lemmy died.
Well, also just like the common thread with the stuff you're bringing out that you like is like a lot of it is like, hey man, like I made all the money I need to make on this stuff. What can I do to help out some people that like are struggling in one way or another, or just need some exposure,
or just like I like that band and maybe I can do something with them. You know what I mean? They're coming up, and this won't help. This won't hurt either of us. So, which
is also like the opening act kind of thing. Too,
right.
Is like who do you throw in front of your opener?
Right.
Where it's just like other band that's just gonna help me make more money. You're like, all right, I guess.
Right.
But there's other guys that are like, listen, I don't care if you heard of this band or not. Like I'm throwing them in front of
exactly
because like people need to hear how good they are.
And that's awesome. Like I appreciate that. You know what I mean? But that's it. And that's the other thing too. Like even. And I know this is a bold thing and people will say it, but Bowie should have stopped. I feel like, don't get me wrong, he did amazing stuff. Yeah. Right? But I kind of feel like when he was collaborating with 9 Inch Nails, that was awesome. Yeah. Right? And when he was doing some other stuff and to just put something out every now and then.
What do you think about his like last set of songs?
It's powerful because of it's him basically.
But if you took it out of the context.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I bought that album when it came out and I've heard the whole thing twice.
Okay. So it didn't stick with you.
No. But Diamond Dogs will stick with me forever. Like Ziggy Stardust will stick with me forever. All that shit's awesome. And you know what happened? When he wasn't old. When it was like young and hot and fresh. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's the other thing too. I don't think that age really doesn't say anything either. Because there's that band, the Dirt Bombs, and that dude's old. And there's like a bunch of stuff with like older bands that rock.
Well, like some people will just kind of sell out or whatever to make some money, which like reminds me of like. If you had the last chance in your life to sell out, and you know how expensive it is, and the weight that you put on your family when you're dying, and you have to get like a tombstone and a funeral and all that. Yeah. If a business existed in which your tombstone cost could be subsidized by advertisement on the tombstone.
This is random. Okay.
Would you make that deal? And a qualifier, you don't get to pick which ad shows up on the tombstone.
Well, I'll be cremated, so that's not an issue.
But I'm saying if you were going to have, okay, we'll set it up for your actual situation first.
Okay.
So you're going to be cremated, right?
Yeah.
But they go, Keith. For the people, we need a tombstone.
For the people.
Bruce Lee, Bruce Lee. We need a place where people are going to be able to throw the flowers and whatever. Is it cool if we just like put a tombstone out? But we're going to pay for we don't have the cash for it. We're going to pay for it with advertising. Is that cool?
I couldn't do it. No, I couldn't do it.
You couldn't do it?
No.
Because you'd be like, man, this goes against.
Well, it could be something I really hate intrinsically,
right?
And then that would just be my legacy forever, and that would taint my family. And I'm fairly certain that my wife would have my back on that. And even though Cadence is 3.5, I'm imagining her being older, and she'd be like, "Fuck that noise."
Yeah.
So.
I don't know if this service exists yet.
Well, the tattoo thing does. You know about that, right?
People have been paid to have tattoos up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, people get like monster energy on their foreheads and stuff.
Yeah. CM Punk had a Pepsi tattoo.
Yeah. Yeah, but
it's not connected.
No, but yeah, it's not connected at all.
I'm just making
and
a
he
joke.
did that just to be punk
just
rock.
Just a callback.
Yeah, exactly. That's not even their logo anymore.
No. I think it's something that will exist.
Oh yeah.
And like, I'm kind of shocked that I just haven't. If it exists, that I haven't seen it.
Well, here's the other plot twist, because I've thought about this before too.
Death plot twist.
Yeah. Yes. Right. Is that I wonder if that what we consider how we can look at graveyards is going to change, so that it just basically becomes like a mall, because then they can just stack everybody, and everybody would just get cremated.
Well, some places do that.
Right, but I'm just saying that'll become normal, like because they want the land, they want the real estate.
Yeah.
So they just start moving people around, or just.
There's some places, some countries where it's basically kind of like a post office box.
Yeah.
Like you go into like the the area, and there's just like names and little slots where the body was pushed in. And
I've seen
go
that.
Up to the ceiling or whatever.
Right.
And it's just like there's like a little holder for flowers and whatever. But like, I think that I would do it because like.
Well, of course you would do it because you're you.
Right, but also like, who's gonna be?
You want
like,
to see who does it.
And like, cause in my head too, like.
It would be dominoes, dude, just to fuck with you.
People are like sitting there at the wake, you know, or they're at the services at the cemetery.
Yeah. And
they're like trying to give these like thoughtful speeches, and it's just like, you know, it's like. And this, like T-Mobile, like my whole tombstone's hot pink.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just like it's a T-Mobile mini cell tower.
Yeah, exactly. Like this tall.
It's just like it's an extends. Like,
extends would be killer.
You know, and like the cross grows every hour on the hour. It just gets up a little bit.
or what do we call it? What was I gonna say? Depends.
Yeah, it's just a big depends. And it's just like it says, it just depends on it.
Yeah.
And then like on the label on the diaper it says R.I.P. R.I.P. Raslo.
Yeah, R.I.P.E.E. Like it's there's a P on it.
And no matter how bad the situation, the funny thing is the embarrassing ones. I would be kind of into.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
It's what it would be like. It'd be like some company that like, it'd be like Nestle.
Oh, you'd be like Halliburton. Fuck.
Yeah, that's what it would really be. I'd be like in my head picturing like Fancy Feast, and it's just like a bunch. The area where you put the roses, it's just like it's a cat bowl.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of like stone cats like
that's
coming up,
cool,
and it's like Fancy Feast, right? And I'm like, that's fucking hilarious, great. And it's just really just like Boeing. Believe everything that this particular company has to say. They have your best intentions in mind. And I'm like, oh no.
Your tombstone says, nothing to see here. Move along. Oh man.
So okay, maybe it's at that.
So never sell out to the grave.
I'll probably still do it.
Yeah, I know.
But
well, I want to say this though too before we move on to the next topic. I've always thought that was weird. Like I said this to my mom, and she was like, "Damn, Like I was like, you should just get cremated. She's like, I want to be buried. I was like, I'm never gonna visit it. I was like, I love you dearly, but you're not there anymore. I was like, you're not there anymore. Your giant robot's there, but you're not there.
Keith, you never got the fucking memo, I guess. It's weird you didn't get the memo. That's just not a thing you do. It's like when someone says in their will, they're like, hey, I just want you to know what I put in my will. I want you to do this with my ashes. And you're like,
no.
I'm not making a car ride out to the river to dump your ashes. Fuck you. Like, you just go like, whether you're going to do it or not, you just go like, all right, if that's what you wish, sure. And she's sitting here like, oh man, how many fucking months have I put on this tombstone? I'm going to do it because I want my son to remember me. And you're like, I'm not visiting it. She's just like, what a...
No, I would empty the ashes. I've even said, hey, why don't you do that thing where they turn you into a tree and then we'll like bury you and then Cadence can like play under you as she grows up. And my mother was like, no, I want a tombstone. I was like, dude, I'm not going. I was like...
No, it sounds like if it was you, in my head, you're my version of you.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I got an idea for you. Why not do one of those things where, and she's like getting excited because you're showing us an investment, and it's like, why do one of those things where like, you get buried and then like a tree grows out of you, so I can not visit that too.
No. See, no, that was the
like,
thing.
oh, my son, he keeps burning me. He keeps burning me. I'm getting cremated right now.
That's all right. No, but yeah, it's not that. Like I was like, I want the tree because then you're with me forever. I was like, how about we get you to the ashes and then I squeeze you into diamonds, like, and then like you'd be like a bracelet or something. And she's like, no.
Punch up.
and then you can pay for Cadence's college afterwards.
Hey, Mom, check out this Nintendo 64 I got. Dude. With your diamonds.
Dude, my mom's gonna see this and hate me. But no, it's true. Like I don't. That's why I don't want to get buried because I don't expect people to come. Like, hey, look, this is where the husk is. You know, like at wakes.
Yeah.
When people are like, oh, he looks so good. I'm like, no, he doesn't. Like, he's not even here now. He's out. Like, this is just the body.
I want someone to just like spray plasticine on my living body and just like, and then
just be like, get up here, like,
like.
I've thought about that.
But it sounds like your mom's gonna want to punch you now.
We've had this conversation to each other, so we're already there. I'm still debating on whether or not I actually really bury her or I just tell her I'm going to. And then,
at least keep the fantasy going.
Yeah.
I mean, no, you're totally doing it. This is recorded.
Yes.
You're totally.
You've changed my spirit. Thank you, sir. And now
I've convinced you.
In fact, Mom, we're gonna bury you twice.
But you've taken a punch before.
Oh yes, I have.
But you have some issue with people that have it?
Yes. Here's my thing.
Yeah.
Not all people.
Right.
It's a very particular group of people, and all of us know at least one person like that.
Yeah.
Right? It's that person who just is super self-important, and you can tell they've gone through their whole lives without anybody ever saying no or having to be held accountable for their actions.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
It's those dudes. And I think there's we live in a society that's like over pushing safety with kids, like not letting kids figure stuff out.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, there's crazy shit out there and we need to watch our kids. But my point is, there's certain life lessons that kids can only learn from other kids.
Right.
And one of those is, I'm popping shit in the playground. What the hell did you say? Like, you know what I mean? And then you're like, oh wait, maybe I shouldn't be disrespectful to people. Because that kid, if someone says, that's not nice, and he's like, well then fuck you too. And they're like, that wasn't nice either. And that's how he goes through life, because no one ever just turns around and puts a foot in his ass.
I'm just picturing your thought process being that's the only way to learn that lesson.
No.
I know. I'm just like, so you're like, all right, so you're talking to your wife, you're like, so I set up a cage match for the kid.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell her, go ahead, disrespect him.
No, well, it's funny you say that because I've been teaching Cadence some martial arts, right?
Yeah.
And I've said this to Arlene, and we're basically like, if she uses her powers for good, this is hilarious. She'll see this in like 10 years and be like, screw you, Dad, right? But we're like, if she uses her powers for good and helps people, which seems to be how she does it now, she's like super sweet.
Yeah.
Wants to be a superhero,
right?
Then that's fine.
Yeah.
But if I start hearing stories about her bullying kids at school and stuff, then I'm gonna be like, let's go to this other playground you don't usually go to, and I'll just let shit play itself out. Do you know what I mean? And then
try pushing that guy off the slide.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't see her going that way. But that's my point, is these people grow up
Right.
Right. And usually by that, it's too late at that point.
Yeah.
And I can see in almost every single one of those instances, there was someone that just checked them when they were younger.
Yeah.
That would have shut it down.
I think like in general, like anytime someone doesn't understand the consequences, the potential consequences of something that they're doing, like they're willing to push it a lot further. And
if they never have to be accountable for it, then why should they stop?
Same thing, like, you know, it goes across the board. Like, you know, you're talking about like pharmaceutical CEOs or whatever.
Oh yeah,
it's like if they, I guess I shouldn't even say this because I was going to say if they had a family member, because it probably wouldn't matter.
Right.
But if it's like if they were personally affected, I guess is the only way.
Right, and that's my point.
If they're personally affected with it, it's like, oh man, I can't afford this medicine that's like costs like 3 cents to make. You know, it's
or just like if someone's like, fuck you, and they're like, you can't say that to me, and someone's like, I just did, and they're like, wait, I can't do anything about it. And then that's what I'm talking about. Like they need those instances to happen, and it doesn't happen. There's so many people out there that just like I'll tell you a short story that's true.
Sure.
I was in my early 20s.
Yeah.
My uncle was having a barbecue. Mm-hmm. All these family members were there. My girlfriend was there at the time, and a bunch of my cousins and stuff were all like teenage girls.
Yeah.
Right. There's one little boy there. I won't say any names. He was like 7, right? And he keeps running around to the little girls and the teenage girls, trying to pull their bathing suits off. And he thinks it's hilarious, and no one's doing anything about it, right?
Yeah.
And then I see this happening.
Yeah.
And when no one's looking, I drag him around the side of the house.
Yeah.
And I say to him, you think you're fucking funny, but this shit doesn't fly. Yeah. And he's like, you can't talk to me like that. I was like, I can talk to you any way I want.
Right.
Because if you walk out there and you say something, I'll just go, he's just trying to get me in trouble.
Right.
And they're already established as a troublemaker kid, so they're going to believe me and not you, right? And he was like, well, it doesn't matter. What are you going to do about it? You're too big to hit me. And I turned, and my cousin Matt, who was like 8 at the time, I was like, hey, Matt, come here. And he's like, hey. Now, we got to preface this with Matt is like the sweetest, most loving, like kindest kid, glasses, like the epitome, a little chubby at the time, right?
Yeah.
And he comes over, and he goes, hey, what's up? And I said, punch him in the face. And he tried to clock the kid. And I said,
I like that you have sleeper cells. I've said the activation word. He doesn't even know what's happening. He's like, oh!
I punch him in the face. The kid's like, and I said, and he goes, that all? And I said, yeah. And he goes back and he plays. And the kid's like, I can't believe you did that. And I said, yeah, that's what life is going to do to you if you keep acting like this.
Yeah.
Now the long end of that is
a lot worse.
Right. And you're going to be a lot worse. And then you're going to make other people's lives worse. And then eventually life is just going to fuck you up.
Yeah.
Right. And the long story that people are like, oh my God, you're a terrible person. In hindsight, that shit was funny. But also,
I was waiting for a clarification. Like, I've learned I maybe should have handled things. It was like in hindsight, even funnier.
Right. But here's the important takeaway.
Yeah.
That kid straightened up.
Yeah.
Like after that. And I've seen him a bunch of times growing up since then.
Yeah.
And he's like super respectful and really nice.
Yeah.
And always cool. And it never came up again.
Yeah.
And he's not like, when he sees me, he's not like, there's that guy.
Like, yeah, I fucked up.
Yeah, like it's so, it's way, like he's a man now, and he's like a lot more chill. And clearly, he didn't act that way for the rest of the barbecue.
Right.
And every other family thing we'd see him at, he was like, he just played with the other kids and was like a cool kid.
Well, maybe you should have just had a meeting with him. You know, organize a meeting, put it in his Outlook calendar, be like, how to treat women, 9:45 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see? Well, that's the other thing, right? Because then meetings.
Yeah.
Right? Why? Because this is what meetings basically are, right?
Yeah.
It's like one person or a group of people are like, here's some shit.
Yeah.
And can you do it?
Yeah.
Right? That's an email.
A lot of it doesn't have to be in a meeting. There is like a corporate
and meetings only to be for 15 minutes long, like
for meetings.
Yeah.
And then there's like there's the scheduled meetings too, where it's like we do it every time, so we do it every time.
Right.
And it's not like, is there anything we're actually gonna get out of this today, or we should just not do it today?
Right.
It's like, well, no, it's the 10 a.m. We need to do it on the 10 a.m.
Right.
And it's like, okay.
Why? There's donuts.
Yeah.
I've been to meetings about meetings.
There usually is.
You know, and
at any big organization, it's like, oh man, we the shit that went down in that meeting. Hold on, let's meet so we can talk about what happened in everyone's meetings. Oh fuck, we have to schedule another meeting because we didn't get through it all.
Yeah, exactly. You know what it is? It's just like to me, every time I'm in a meeting, I'm like, tell me what you want me to know. Okay, here's what I know. Okay, let's bounce. Like that's kind of it. Like it doesn't have to be this long thing, but it always is. And yeah, it just, and now especially now I have like a corporate job. And don't get me wrong, I love my job and everybody in it's really nice. But I just have zero tolerance for meetings, and I typically only go to ones I have to go to.
Right.
And they kind of know that about me.
I mean, but like, there's the other side of it, right? Where there's like the person who's like trying to fill up their entirety of their day with meetings.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's kind of almost more of an issue. Where it's like, hey, why are you trying so hard to never be doing your job?
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
And you know, like fruit flavors that have just one job. It tastes like the fruit.
Nice segue. That's another pet peeve of mine. Is fruit flavored shit that doesn't taste like the fruit.
Yeah.
Like grape doesn't taste like grape. It tastes like purple. Or the other thing is like orange. Orange is a good example, right?
Yeah.
Orange tastes like 10,000 oranges. Like you can't be like, that's a delicious orange taste. Yeah. It's like someone condensed a grove into this one mouth drop.
It was like they scraped the conveyor belt.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're just like, I don't know.
Wrap it in sugar, sell it.
Yeah. Every part of the orange.
Yeah, exactly.
There was a thing, like, I don't remember if this is entirely true of all gummies or it was just this particular brand or what, but there was something where there was a brand of gummies where all of the flavors, the flavor was identical.
Yeah.
Across all of them.
Right, but they were different colors and people.
And color were different. And because so much of our taste is built into our smell,
right? When
you put it in your mouth, you're like, oh yeah, it totally tastes like the thing they say it tastes like. But if you
close your eyes,
close your nose, and then ate it, you're like, these don't taste the same. Yeah. And I was like, wow, that's kind of like fucked up. That's a weird thing. And it made me wonder like how much food is set up like.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's so 21st century, right?
Yeah.
You know,
it's like I could save a lot more money if I just like spray it with some scent and go like, it's a different flavor, right? I guess so. It smells like it should be.
Exactly. Yeah, I got beef with that stuff. Like gum. Like, don't get me wrong. Like the Wrigley, what's it called? The fruit one.
Juicy fruit?
Yeah, juicy fruit.
Yeah.
I love that gum.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really taste like fruit. It just tastes like amazing
juicy
sweetness.
Fruit. It tastes like juicy fruit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've definitely had that before. Like, this isn't what you're saying it is, but okay.
It's also good, yeah.
I'm trying to figure out, like, the common filling of a jelly donut. Is it fruit punch? You ever thought about it?
It depends where the jelly donut's from.
But I'm saying, like, a Dunkin' Donuts or, like,
I just feel like that's just generic, like, saccharin overdose.
But I'm just saying, like, if you're, like, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is...
Oh, like, what are they shooting for?
This is jelly. Yeah. And then, like, I never really thought about it until I got older, and I was like, wait a minute.
What flavor is it?
What fruit are they trying to... And I'm like, all I could come up with is, I think, fruit punch.
Really?
What do you think
I always thought it was just, like, a really piss-poor grape.
It doesn't taste like grape.
No, I said piss poor grape.
This grape tastes
grape
like
doesn't taste like grape. Grape tastes like
grape
purple.
Tastes like fruit punch.
But by fruit punch, you mean not real fruit punch. You mean the flavor
like
fruit punch.
Like if it was like Hawaiian punch made of spreadable jam.
Yeah.
That's what it tastes like. Is in the inside.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Of like a jelly donut.
And you know what's crazy?
Yeah.
Do you know what they use? There's like or not an organ, but like some part of like badgers or something, or beavers.
Gland?
Yeah, the gland from beavers that they use to make that stuff. So it's kind of like, if you're vegan and you're eating this,
I've seen people say that, like, oh, they secrete like oil from whatever animal, or like when there's those rumors about like Red Bull where they're like, it's like, you know, bull piss or whatever, and I'm just like, well, no wonder I'm so awake.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like, man, that's delicious.
Extra cojones. Well, excellent.
If I'm ever trapped out in the middle of the woods and I'm getting a craving, I'm just gonna.
Hey man, nuts are nuts.
A squirrel, you look. The squirrel's never.
Hey, they're hyper. They get energy. But yeah, the rate, like, you know what else is bad is like watermelon flavor does not taste like watermelons.
That's true.
Watermelon flavor doesn't taste like, none of them taste like I said, orange is the only one I've thought of. Oh, actually, I stand corrected. Lemon.
Tastes like lemon?
Yeah. It can.
Depending, yeah. But you're talking about watermelon, which reminds me of the ocean.
Okay.
Water.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that have a fear of bodies of water as long as it's not a swimming pool.
Right.
And like, I get it because I think inherently everyone to some degree has that.
Right.
But then when you think about it for any length of time, you're like, I'm way more likely to have some bad shit happen to me on land.
Yes.
Than I am in the ocean. But like, you'll do that thing where you're like,
oh yeah,
putting your toe in and you're like, is this okay? You're like scanning for sharks. You're like, whatever. And it's like, you don't do that when you're just like, what?
No, you don't.
You're not like,
sunglasses on and earbuds, and you're like, doo-doo-doo.
Yeah.
Traffic.
You're not like before you cross between like every alley. You're not like, is there a fucking grizzly bear running down here? Like there could be.
Well, you know what the thing is.
It's a similar thing, right? Like, and people be like, that's a fucking stupid example. A grizzly bear fucking running down the fucking alleyway.
Sharks.
But it's like it's the same.
Yeah.
Like. The sharks are not supposed to be in this area.
Right.
And it's like, but they could. It's always a thing.
Also,
it's
you know
like,
what the other thing is too?
Well, guess what? Like, bears can decide to walk into
and to that end, in both scenarios, seeing them isn't going to make it not happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the only defense you have with the shark where you can look at it first is like, they're probably not running on land to go after you, so like you have to kind of engage.
Right. Well, I was to that end. I was going to say actually that like death in the ocean is self-inflicted.
Usually, yeah.
Because like if you drown, you shouldn't have been in the ocean that deep. You know what I mean? If you're like. Also, if you gauge like dudes who go out into the deep sea and dive into cages and look at sharks, as that's what's going to happen on the beach, like you need to drink more decaf.
Well, it's like, everyone knows that like the average like death in the water is from drowning, but people are doing like corkscrews and whatever off of like shallow.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's cool, it's a swimming pool, and it's like, way more people die in swimming pools than the ocean. Like, but then like they'll be like, oh man, I just love the swimming pool, and it's like, oh, let's go on to the beach. Fucking not safe, man. I don't feel safe going out into you're like.
Well, to that end, surfing, and coral reefs, right? That's kind of like I get it, because surfing is best like in shallower, like when there's something going on there, they can get their weight, right? But I get that. But also, that's sort of like the equivalent of skateboarding on broken glass.
I don't know about that.
Because having been a street skater, I'd say it's the guy that does the grind down the railing on the stairs. Right. But
like
also
the long one,
glass.
You know what I mean? Like I don't have to. You're just trying to disassociate.
No. Because coral reefs rip you apart. Is my point.
They do, but I'm saying like in both instances, the surfer and the skateboarder, and they're very similar, right?
Yeah.
In both instances, they're like, okay, I've seen reefs like that before. I think the water's gonna be about this height. I think I'm gonna be able to not land on that. I should be good. And in both instances, like if you miscalculate it, your skill's not
it's a wrap. Exactly.
It's like, there's some like broken bones and stuff. So like I see it more like it's like the skateboarder who's like.
You just made me flash back to this time. I saw this dude do a rail slide in shorts. I kid you not, dude. And he burst a testicle.
Whoa!
And this thing like rolled out of his shorts. That was still attached.
I have to cancel this show now. Every single part of your story that you just decided to share that I didn't ask you to share, it was like if you went to a fancy restaurant and they had the pepper person with the pepper grinder, and if I said by my like I said that's enough pepper, and they just They got like what you want, ghost pepper? They're like, let me make it worse for you.
You wanted a glaze on that?
Yeah, you're like, well, I can't eat my fucking meal. You ruined it. Now I have to delete the podcast.
Hey,
it was just like.
Well, considering the other topics you've had, I'm impressed and honored that I was the one that did that.
Listen, there's been a lot of stuff where they're like, it's been mostly people being like, I don't want to hear him talk about that. It's pain on people listening. More so than like, this is one where it's like literally anyone
Everybody is going to cringe.
Has testicles or has someone they care about testicles. Or just hates body parts rolling around.
You want to hear the horrible part of the story, though?
That is the horrible part of the story.
No, the most horrible part of the story is when he first bailed, before we realized the gravity, everybody laughed at him.
I've been in a situation like that where it was like, I was not where my testicles got ripped off.
They're not ripped off, dude. Exploded.
Because I would have talked about that before. But like where I went to swing off of a tree into like a shallow, stream, and the branch broke, and I didn't clear the rocks, and so I landed on my back on the rocks.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever had you must have because you skateboard, right? There's the noise that your body makes if you hit hard enough because you lose air.
Yeah.
And it sounds dumb as hell. It sounds real dumb.
Well, the basic noise that you hear in your core is like this, boom, kind of like, I know what you're talking about.
This is a voice thing you're making, right? And I understand. It sounds stupid.
Yeah.
That was literally the only noise I could make. And my friends are like... Because yes, I realized I just fell on my back. There's a comedy element to it, and I know I'm making the dumbest fucking noise ever. But the last thing,
exactly,
when you're like, did I just fuck my back up for life?
Exactly.
Is here like, you're like, no, come on.
Will I walk again?
I'm like, shit, do my toes work? I'm like, man. If I was Thanos, I'd snap you out of existence.
Well, that's what I felt about the kid, because I was kind of because we saw him setting it up, and we knew he wasn't gonna make it, and he was being kind of cocky and belligerent about it. So we were like, okay, cool guy. And because it's one of those things again, like surfing and skating. Like the second you are up, you know if you landed it or not. And if you know you didn't, then you're just like, oh, this is highly unpleasant. There's no way
twist my body in a way to minimize this?
He did it, and you could see that he was like, I got this. And the rest of us were like, no, you don't. And then he fell, and we were like,
and then you guys all walked over to a playground so we could start puking.
Exactly. Man, I just ate these mushrooms. Thanks a lot.
That was the missing part of the story was that mushrooms were totally great. The only reason you guys puked was because your friend ruptured his testicle. Why was he trying to skateboard on mushrooms? That's why he didn't land he saw a railing that didn't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
And he just,
and it was made of marshmallows or something.
Yeah, he's like, I'm fucking skating all the way to heaven, guys. See ya. See you later.
Dude, that was rough. That was rough.
But the funny thing is, like, it doesn't matter how much you intellectually understand that, like, jumping into a lake or jumping into an ocean is, like, just as about the same as jumping into a pool.
Traffic.
The same as jumping into a pool. Like, people be like, I could be like, with the arguments I made today, people would be like, yeah, he makes some good points. It's gonna 0% change anyone's like behavior or thought processes the next time they go to an ocean or a lake, because there's just certain things, regardless of how much it makes intellectual sense, people are going to be afraid of.
Well, undertows are real.
That's not what I'm talking about. But like, it doesn't matter. Like for example, like ghosts.
Yes. Okay.
There's all these people who I've had people that literally say they can watch a slasher movie, not scared at all, right? Like, what really gets me is a fucking ghost story, right? And I'm like, all right, let's compare and contrast. One guy with a knife or whatever weapon,
imminent danger,
is gonna stab you. Okay, chance of happening, like among ways you could be murdered, pretty likely.
Yeah.
Like some ghost shit.
Yeah.
People who even see some ghost shit percentage lower than people who get murdered by some random psychopath. So like, and then that's me being nice, right? I'm giving that percentage to be nice.
Right.
Now, but let's compare the real stat, right?
Right.
Amount of people that are murdered by ghosts versus the amount of people murdered by dude with a fucking butcher knife.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm waiting for the stories.
Maybe we just don't know about the ghost murders.
So you're saying like all the old people that pass away in their sleep, there's ghosts that just wait for them to get weak enough?
You know like what spontaneous combustion is, right?
I'm aware of it, yes.
Okay, I had this theory when I was a kid that was just vampires committing suicide.
I'm sick of immortality.
Yeah, I was 600 years. I'm going to watch the sun come up and leave only my shoes.
I think that would work if every single spontaneous human combustion happened exclusively during the day.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that is the case.
Again, reiterate, I was a kid.
Hold on, I'm getting into a time machine to make fun of it. I can only use the time machine once.
Be careful, that little kid me is scrappy as fuck, dude.
I only use the time machine once, and I've chosen to use it this way. I can't. There's surely nothing better I could do with it, right? Oops, fuck. Sorry, guys. I've let you all down.
But yes, 0 ghost murders.
But do you have a fear of ghosts?
No, I have a respect of shit I don't understand. I can say I'll tell the story because I have a feeling you want me to tell it.
Yeah.
But I actually, when I was first dating my wife, I went to her family's house, which is an literally old, ancient Pennsylvania Dutch house. And I went into the house, and the family was really cool, whatever, but they were like, you guys sleep in different rooms because you're not married yet. I was like, whatever. So they put me in this room on the old side of the house. And it's important to understand that it was like warm out. The weather was warm. Okay. So everybody goes to bed. I go upstairs. The whole rest of the converted part of the house is all modern and whatever.
Yeah.
But then when you go into the old part of the house, it's like weird noises and creaks and stuff, right? So I was like, and I'm also a city boy, so I'm not a big fan of just like the noises of the woods.
Yeah.
I'm getting better at it, but right. Yeah. So we go there. The room's really cold, but I'm like, whatever. So I go to sleep. Then at some point in the night, I wake up and I have to go to the bathroom, and there's literally, I cannot express this enough, like some force is like holding me down aggressively and not letting me get up, and it really freaked me the fuck out because it forced you to kind of like reassess what you thought of the universe up until that moment. And I was like, this is wholly fucked up, and I'm really uncomfortable with this, and I'm kind of freaked out, but I don't want to give this thing, whatever it is, the benefit of whatever. And this all sounds like crazy talk, but that's where the rest of the story kicks in. So then I fell back to sleep, forced myself to go back to sleep, and kept waking up in all these twisted positions and like really sore, right? So I didn't sleep well that night. The next day, they're all like, how'd you sleep? And I'm just like, great, right? Because I'm thinking, what do I tell these people? Oh, your house is haunted by this fucking asshole ghost, right?
Yeah.
So, and he's a bully. So I didn't know what to do. So the day's going on. My fiance at the time is like, well, the two of us are together. She's like, you're being like really weirdly quiet for you. You know me, so right? She's like,
yeah, you never shut up.
Yeah. Well, when someone has something to say, I do. But she was like, you're being like oddly quiet.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, I don't want to sound crazy, but this happened. And I told her the story, and she was like, oh, that's the ghost. And I was like, what? And then she goes on to tell me this story that basically like all the children see this thing all the time, and it's nice to the kids, but it's occasionally mean to other family members. And so basically not just myself but other family members who all tend to be males have been aggressively treated by this entity, right? It's been in the house forever. The parents, then this is the other part twist, right? So I tell her, and then over dinner she's like, so the ghost attacked Keith last night, and they were like, oh, we're sorry. Like everybody, it's like a thing, right?
Yeah.
And I was just like freaked the fuck out. And I was just like, how are you cool with this? And they're basically like, we're not, but like, we haven't gotten a way to get it out. They eventually did.
So I got 2 notes about your story.
Yeah.
The first note is that how many boyfriends didn't pass the ghost test?
Yeah.
And a lot of the families, like, we're very aware as a ghost, and that's why we always put boyfriends
in the ghost room. Exactly.
You gotta pass the ghost test. And maybe that ghost is just like an old relative that just like hates any guy that's brought home.
No,
as
because
a
I think
potential suitor.
Well, here's the other thing. The house used to be a what do we call it? Bootleg place, like in the 30s.
Yeah.
It was like super gangster.
Yeah.
Right, and then before that, it was like Puritan, whatever.
My other theory is that the ghost just like has a pee fetish.
And didn't want me to
and
pee.
So he wanted you to. It was like he saw you get up, like, ooh, and he's like, yeah, "Come on, I'm watching." And you're like, "All right, I guess I'll go back to bed." He's like, "Fuck." He's just like,
dude, it was fucked up though. And the crazy thing is, as they were telling me, I mean, this is their family knows about this stuff, and now it's a long time ago.
Yeah.
So they don't talk about it anymore because it's gone or it's just sedated or whatever, right?
You don't want to bring him up.
Right. But all the kids, when it was happening, they were like, it was like this common thing. They all knew it, and they'd all be like, "Oh, he's over there waving," and everybody'd be like, "What?" Like the really little kids could see him, and I just thought that was fucked up. And I was like, I don't know where you guys are from, but this is like totally one of those stereotype things that you see in the movies where it's like suburban white families like, our house is haunted, whatever. I was like, I don't know where the fuck you're from, but I'd fucking move. Like I'd just be like, I'm not gonna stay back in the middle.
Well, you know what? We've never had an issue with it because he's just racist and
that crossed my mind.
Everyone we bring by is fine. Did you have a problem? You're like, yes, I had a fucking problem.
Yeah, exactly. Trust me, that went through my head. I was like, is the ghost racist?
It's like, you're like, all right, I'm being brought into the country. You're like, oh man, wow, really far between homes. Really far between stuff here. It's like, you're like the night. And then the racist ghost shows up.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just like, die!
And I told,
come on,
and here's a thing to that too. I was talking to this kung fu teacher I know about it, right? Because he hit one of his students fancies himself like an occultist guy.
Yeah.
But that dude's always going through fucked up shit, right? And I was talking to this teacher about it, who's like this older, wiser, badass like guy, right? And he was just basically like, yeah, he's like, that shit doesn't affect people who don't open themselves up to it because it can't. Because it can't perceive it. He goes, but people who are more psychically sensitive to that stuff have to be careful because you can be like you, where you have random incidents and you're just like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Or you can be like him and be tortured forever because he opened the floodgates and they all just went, that guy, because he's like a beacon. Yeah. And I was just like, cool, how do I turn that light off? I was like, cool, I don't ever need to be revisited by ghosts.
You just wear shirts that say, I don't believe in ghosts.
Yeah, exactly. Play the old Ghostbusters song. I ain't afraid of no ghost.
Yeah, you just wear a Ghostbuster outfit to keep them away.
But yeah, so that shit was crazy. But the most craziest thing, and this is the thing that I have to stress too, like I'll carry that forever. But the most fucked up part of it was them being like, ha ha, that ghost.
I really just, I don't want to judge other people's families, but like, if you know there's a ghost room, maybe.
Yeah, don't put someone in the ghost.
Yeah,
or the ghost section.
Yeah, and they're nice to the family because that was part of the detail. Nice to the family. It's like, well, we got a ghost room. It's like a puzzle game. It's like someone like failing at level 1 of a puzzle game. Yeah. It's like, we got to go. How are we going to do here? We got a guest coming over. Well, we've got the ghost room. They're always nice to a family member, and we got a guest coming. Where should we put the guests?
Well, one family member would get punched in the stomach.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's when they brought, and that happened after mine. Like I think I riled them up or something.
Yeah.
But they eventually brought someone in, and they figured out that there was some weird stream of fucked up.
What was the deal with the other person?
Like why? We don't know.
No, but he lived in specifics of that person.
Oh, he slept.
I'm trying to see if there's any commonality.
Oh no, there isn't. He's just a dude, and but his bedroom was next to the spooky ghost room.
Huh.
And he was a kid there, and he'd seen the ghost when he was little and stuff like that, but kind of just dismissed it as whatever.
Yeah.
And then it was almost like me showing up, like set shit alive again.
Yeah.
But they eventually got rid of it, and they said that there was some kind of stream of water or something that just had like bad energy that was traveling into the house. But even that stuff, I kind of feel like with ghosts, I'm kind of just like with spirituality. I'm more inclined to believe that there's sources of energy in the universe that can go either way. Yeah. And sometimes you stumble on them and you're like, whoops, like, my bad. Like, you know, sometimes it's like, this car flipped over, I have to help those people. And you step into that stream and you're like, dun, 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 dun. My back won't hurt for an hour. You know what I mean? Right? But then there's other times where you're just trying to get up to pee and something's like, no.
Don't pee yourself, do it.
And don't worry, just go back to sleep so I can twist you like a pretzel.
Well, Keith.
Yes.
Thank you so much for talking through these issues with me.
Can I go back to bed now?
I feel like we can go back to bed now that, you know, we've talked about, you know, ruptured testicles and ghosts that hate black people.
Yes.
I feel like finally I can get some.
The guy that got punched is white though, so maybe he's
okay.
So maybe, all right, maybe we're friends.
Men.
Maybe he
hates men. Yeah. Okay. I feel finally I can rest easy.
Yeah, me too. And also that, like, you know, just don't like look for sharks.
Right. Right. Good night.
Good night.
Thanks for checking out Keeping Me Up. I'd like to thank our guest today, Keith Smith. If you want to check him out online, his band is at the 27 Club Music on Twitter. Want to support the games, video, and audio content I make? You can donate as much or as little as you like on patreon.com/GameYayFun. That's GAMEYAYFUN. You can check out new episodes broadcast in video form on twitch.tv/GameYayFun, and audio versions of every episode are available on anchor.fm/GameYayFun, or just search GameYayFun in your podcast service of choice. Don't have any money but still want to support the show? If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free Twitch Prime subscription. You can use it on Game Yay Fun's Twitch page. It'll take some of Jeff Bezos' money and siphon it to me. Unfortunately, you need to re-up it every month. Yee. Let me know how you like the show by messaging me on Twitter at Razlo, R-A-Z-L-O, and I'll be back in 2 weeks with a new episode of Keeping Me Up and a new guest. Thanks for your time, and I hope I kept you gruntled. And do something kind for yourself and someone else every day. Good night. Special thanks to music-note.jp for providing the theme song to Keeping Me Up with the track name Desire Moon.